Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to Jazz and Conversation on Monday nights with Wendy Peterson and Nicky Orta. Oh, look, my phone is on. That's not good. We are really excited about tonight's show. We've got three guests who have many things in common. They're all three musicians, clearly. They all three teach at the University of Miami.
Yep.
And they all three are Grammy winners. And so that's what we're kind of ties the theme for tonight's show together. We're going to talk about their Grammys and their lives and loves. Oh, can we?
I don't think so.
Know, maybe not. But anyway, our first guest is somebody who I've never met in person before, and I watched a little documentary that he has on his website, and now I'm just fascinated, and I love him already. So we're going to talk about Dafnis Prieto, one of the right now one of the world's probably most innovative drummers. And he's well known in the teaching field. He's got a couple of books out, and he's going all over the country. He won a MacArthur Genius Grant. How many people do you know?
Dafnis. I know Dafnis.
Exactly. So he was nominated and won for a Grammy, and so we're going to for his big band record, Back to the Sunset. So we wanted to kind of talk about that with him. But the first thing we're going to do before we talk about that with him is we're going to see his Grammy win.
For Best Latin Jazz Album, the nominees are Eddie Daniels, Dafnis Prieto Big Band, Bobby Sanabria Multiverse Big Band, Elio Villafranca, Miguel Senon featuring Spectral Quartet.
And the Grammy goes to Back to the Sunset, the Dafnis Prieto Big Band.
Woo! And the Grammy goes to, that's got to be the most exciting moment,
Yeah.
I think. It must be so cool. So we're going to listen to right off the bat. Yes, let's take a look at the beautiful,
This is what it looks like.
the Grammy.
For those of us who will never have one, this is what it looks like.
I don't know. I still have a couple good years left in me. I'm going to say, but yeah, that's so exciting. We're going to now we're going to watch a clip from the Grammy winning record, and this is a song called Dansonish Potpourri. Say that 3 times fast. Oh, good.
That's pretty epic.
Please welcome with us the amazing Dafnis Prieto.
Hi, hello.
Hey,
Wendy.
how are you?
Dafnis.
And I'm going to make sure I say your name right, unlike the guy who announced you at the Grammy.
Prieto?
That's right. Yeah, Prieto. Yeah.
Well, he tried.
Either both of my name, Dafnis or Prieto.
It's
both
right.
of them, they could be confusing for people.
Yeah.
So I'm used to it.
Of course. Of course.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you. I'm doing good. Thanks.
Are you in Miami right now or New York?
Yeah,
or?
I'm in Hollywood. I live
Okay.
north of Miami. Yeah, I am. Yes, at home now.
Yeah. Well, the record is just gorgeous, first of all.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate
What did it feel like to you winning the Grammy? I mean, I
It
know
was great.
you've won, in the past, but
Yeah. I mean, I've been nominated before in different occasions with different of my projects and other band leaders that I play in other records also. And this one, it was, I mean, I was, that's the, for me, it just felt a great recognition of the amount of work that I did.
right.
And that for me just kind of humbled myself on that sense, because, it was really a lot of work to put together a big band and to to film it, record it,
Right.
try to promote it as much. And I am releasing. I release all my records. I always have released all my records, so I release it myself on
Oh,
Dafnis
wow.
Music.
Right.
On Dafnis on Music, so I don't have like a label. It's
Right, to help with all
helping
of
me
that.
out. I have a good person who came on board.
Like
with
a promoter,
me,
record.
well, actually, a producer that his name is Eric Oberstein, and he's the one that actually helped me out to put together the big band. And then after that, we have been actually working a lot together, and even the new recording that is coming out now, he's helping me out and producing basically all my projects and stuff like that, because it's a lot of things.
Is it going to be another big band project or?
No, this one is going to be a sextet. I have been this ongoing different projects. I have a quartet, which is named COC Quartet,
Okay.
and then I have the sextet, and I have a trio, which is a different kind of trio. It's not just a jazz trio, but it was more experimental. And then the big band, and then anyway, it's a few things going on. But
Yeah.
Nice.
So you were born in Cuba,
yes,
and how old were you when you came over?
I came to New York when I was 23.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I loved watching. Well, first of all, we wanted to show you as a little boy
Yes.
growing up, and is this your first foray into the drums? With
Yeah, I mean, I believe that's one of those days or those periods. I started playing guitar first. Guitar was my first instrument, and I started when I was about 6. And then this photo was when I was 7 years old. So that was my leaning towards the percussion at that time. And then when I was 10 years old, then I went to the music conservatory for percussion.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's kind of the transition, getting into the percussion, the percussive world.
Did you continue playing guitar?
I did a little bit for a while, and then when I started in the school, then I started playing more piano, because I had to
Right.
actually get classical piano training also.
Okay, is that
So
where
I-
you do? Oh, sorry.
Huh?
Is that where you do most of your writing at the piano?
Yes. Most
Oh
no,
my
all
gosh.
of it. I mean,
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
have this picture also. So I guess this is kind of when you were in the.
This I was in this picture. I was about 13 or 14.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and that's the uniform that we used there in Cuba. They had a pañoleta. How you call this thing?
Scarf?
A scarf or like
Oh, but
a
not really.
handkerchief or a.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's part of the uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Anyway,
that's
it's
another
funny. It's that's a good picture. I like actually the smile of the guy behind me.
Yeah, sure.
I love his smile. Every time that I look at that picture, I love him, and I say, "Man, I'm so blessed that I can make someone happy like
Right.
that." Because look at that guy. He's really, expressing he's having a good
Yeah.
time for sure.
Sure.
I watched, and I'll say this, if you're new to Dafnis, or even if you know Dafnis and you haven't gone to his website, you need to go to his website,
Oh, it's
Dafnison
a plethora of things
dot
to
com.
Dafnis
And
on Music, yeah.
DafnisOnMusic.com.
Let's show that, shall we?
Yeah, and watch a little video. It's 10 minutes long, and it's called Regresar, back in Cuba,
Yes.
and it is fantastic. I loved,
you.
I'm telling you, I fell in love with you watching.
Thank you.
Here's the
Thank
first
you.
30 seconds just to whet your appetite.
Okay, yeah, we can watch a little bit of it.
Yeah, let's watch it. We are here in Havana now. We just arrived into Havana to play this week at the Jazz Festival and do some educational activities too. Haven't played here in about like 20 years. It's a long time. Exciting.
That's just a teaser.
Yeah.
So that you have to go to his website and watch
Yeah.
the other 9 minutes of it.
So
Yes, yes.
did it feel just crazy to go back after 20 years?
It was, yeah. I mean, I was going back to visit my family, but not to really perform. This is after presenting my music. After I left really for a while for
Right.
the 20 years, and I haven't really played there. I play occasionally, like once for 10 minutes somewhere. Someone invited me, or just a small solo or something. But I never really done like this project like that.
Yeah, because you
Coming
went
back.
back and you did a whole. I mean, you brought
Yeah.
a sextet, but you had
Yes.
a big band with you.
You worked with the kids
which
and all
was-
that. Yeah.
Yes, we did educational activities, and when we play at the festival with the two projects, with the sextet and also the big band.
Big band, yeah.
I loved when you talked about your feelings about genre. About
Yeah.
how trying to put music in a box is something that
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
we do, and really it's just trying to express yourself, and you don't
Right.
like to think about it like that.
Right, yeah. I mean, there are different points of view of what music is and what it should be, and I accept and respect everyone's point of view, because to me that's a personal relationship. Besides whatever social activity you can do with it in music, but it's a personal choice. You have a relationship with music or with arts as the same way you can have it with a person, right? So it's that particular relationship that should be respected. So, but for me, I just think that I always say as a joke that styles are not something that they grew up on mango trees or
Right.
avocados. They are no mangoes or avocados. The styles, they were created by people, and many times they were created by very specific individual people. And when you talk about music, you have to talk about the people behind it.
Right.
And that's the beauty of it, and that's what I'm trying to to go for it. when
Well,
I
for
think about
sure,
it.
for sure, the most interesting thing I find is how everybody processes their influences differently. You take 5 musicians that all listen to, Charlie Parker or whoever you want to pick, and it's all gonna come out of them in a different way, which
Yeah.
is
You're right.
it's
It's completely personal, and
Yeah, I mean,
everybody's
the-
experience is different.
This, yeah, I mean, obviously there is a basic knowledge of it behind it that but and there is a vocabulary. There is a realistic, situation when
Yeah.
you listen to that. Now our perception of it changes because we have all different perceptions and different knowledge about that, and
Right.
that will change the whole experience. That's what it is. That's the nature of it.
right. Also, how you interacted within your day.
Mm-hmm.
You might play one song, that you played yesterday, completely different today because you got in a fight with your wife, or somebody smiled at you, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh wow, this is a great day, and so all of a sudden it filters through you in a different way. So that's it's really the beautiful thing about music, and
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
and
we try
it-
to express. We try to express all these things through the music. That's the whole point of it.
And
Yeah.
you seem to be in a nice place now where you're able to do everything that you're kind of feeling. Obviously, you have these different groups.
Yeah, I have these different groups, and between the performing and also the educational part also, and I'm really committed to both of them, and also composing. I'm writing
Right.
music for a lot of different projects and stuff like that. So
Can
it's
I
fun.
I wanted to ask you about your, I know a lot of people commission you now, different, bands and universities and things.
Yes.
But I looked online and I really wanted to try to find, some music that you wrote for dance, with the dancers, but I couldn't.
I know.
What is that? I mean, is it a different, do you have to come to it in a different way, writing for choreography, or do they tell you what it's going to be and what they want, or?
Well, this started because my ex-wife is a dancer.
So this is the love part. We get to find out a
Oh,
little
you were
bit
right.
about
Afterwards.
Lena.
Okay, yeah.
So anyways, we were together for like 13 years. So on all that time, I developed and created with her so many different choreographies and stuff.
Okay.
And I did the music for it. We did live improvisations as well.
Okay.
We did live choreographed performances, and I also wrote sometimes the music, and I didn't was part of the show,
Okay.
meaning actively there, so the music was recorded. So
Right.
there are different approaches to it, and we think that those different approaches of how to make music for dance,
Right.
there are many other approaches in it, in how to relate movements with sound. But the core for me and my belief is that there is no sound without movement. So therefore, there you have it. Sound is always going to come out of a movement. There is not such a thing as
Well,
sound
it's a
coming.
vibration, so
Exactly, that's what I
something,
mean. So
Yeah.
in the core of it, that's what it is. So
Yeah. And explain to me exactly what a genius grant is, Dafnis.
Well, the specific this award is a MacArthur award, and this is really something that you don't apply for it personally. Something it's kind of an award, the similar process, I guess, in terms of the confidentiality to the novel or something
Right.
like that.
Okay.
Right?
Oh wow.
So, anyways, yeah. So this is because they give you a large sum of money, and also they don't. There is no statue or anything like that. It's actually just they just give you a letter and a diploma kind of a thing, and they just support you. It's basically supporting people that
Right.
are that somehow they're doing a whatever they consider they consider that we're doing a good job in terms of creating
Right.
new zones and new environments and new vocabularies in the creative realm of the artistic thing. But the MacArthur is not only for music or arts; it's actually for everything. It's physicians,
Right. Science.
yeah,
and-
science and,
Yeah.
and a lot of social work that
Right.
they actually support, and it's kind of a recognition slash support because there is obviously the economy part of it involved.
Right. Well, that's great. It's
Yeah.
congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's very exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
none of that comes around without hard work. So
Oh man, no, for sure.
very nice.
I know that you were also nominated. We wanted to talk a little bit about
Yes.
the
Absolute
Absolute
Quintet.
Quintet.
That's right. Yeah, the Absolute Quintet. That's a project, an ensemble that I had that it has actually strings. So it had a violin, cello.
Oh,
saxophone.
sorry. Hold on a second. That was. Forgive me. That was not what I wanted to do just yet. But hold on. Okay.
What happened? We
But
good?
that was some great drumming.
No, because we're gonna play a clip from
What
it.
we wanted
so-
was the cover.
Oh, okay.
There it is.
Go ahead.
So
There's the
tell us
cover, yeah.
about that.
Yeah, that's the cover. That's actually, as you can see, maybe not that much identifiable, but that's the bed, my bed in New York. That's
Oh,
that's,
is that right?
the picture frame of that is actually the guy in the fire stairs in the
Oh,
the
wow.
staircase, the fire thing in the apartment in New York, and I'm looking to outside from the regular classic apartment building in New York, and
Right.
that's my bed there all messed up in the back.
Yet it made a great picture.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Go
now you got
figure.
you got the inside of that picture. But this project is very special. It has a violin, a cello, a saxophone, keyboards, and drums. So and it's kind of there's a lot of chamber music oriented concepts there. Obviously, the Latin influence is there as well, and just my music in a different configuration with different ideas, different developments. And I really enjoyed that album too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's listen to a song called "The Coolest."
Oh yeah.
The coolest.
The Coolest. Dafnis Prieto.
Yay, that was so good.
Very cool.
How is it that you doing the that's like
Yeah, I just start with there's a vocalization with the that's kind of a similar. It's kind of the approach of the Indian. They have something is called konakol in India, and which is the spoken rhythmic language that they use on the on the tablas, on
Okay.
the percussive instrument and stuff like that. So I try to get close to that idea in that song.
and so I wanted to ask you, talking about that, since did you study a lot of world music drumming or
I did that all that by myself. I do it.
just the curiosity?
Yeah, just out of curiosity, which is a lot. I did. I listen to a lot of different kind of music from different places in the world.
And I know that you have 2 books out.
Yes.
And do you approach rhythm differently than you think most people do, or is there something?
Well, coming from the culture that I come from, and also having the experience of kind of having the different of the experience of playing different kind of music, in a way, have gave me somehow the experience and the knowledge of understanding sometimes two separate worlds and putting them together.
Okay.
Musically speaking, right? But then in the methodological part of it, for example, I give you a short story. When I was doing the classical training, I was doing exercises for the hand. There is a famous book called Stick Control Book. So, and then I didn't have a drum method, and I am self-taught on drums too. So I wanted to practice the drums, but I didn't have a method to practice with. So I made this stick control book to work with the clave pattern and the cascara and the cowbell pattern and stuff, like with the rhythms that where I come from.
Right.
So I made this enormous amount of exercises and possibilities, rhythmic possibilities that not only are exercises, but they become patterns later on. Which is so that really helped me, and that's what I teach a lot to my students now. Besides, the rhythms, the kind of the more traditional rhythms, as
Right.
from different places in Latin America and the world, basically.
Yeah. Would you mind playing a little something for us live?
Oh yeah, sure.
That would be great.
Let me actually. I'm gonna take my. Let me take my headphones. Yeah, I have my drums here in the back.
Okay. We can see them.
Lovely. Oh yeah.
What's so funny is that when we did the test, oh, well, you don't have your headphones on. That was great. Well, I want you to go back and listen to it later, because when we did the test, I don't think it was for some reason it was overdriving the mic a little bit.
Yeah.
When you just played now. But it had it actually sounded like melodic, with like.
You can do no wrong, man. You can do no wrong.
Yeah. Okay, I would love to
What
hear.
are you, some kind of genius?
This will be archived.
I would love to have a copy of it. We'll talk about it later, but I would love to have a copy actually of this of the whole interview.
Sure.
I really
Don't criticize the technician too
No.
much for this show. He sometimes is better, sometimes he's worse. The Miami Jazz Co-op has this to say.
Dafnis, you must not live in an apartment building.
No, definitely no. But I did it in New York for.
I was gonna ask. So, did you have a separate studio where you practiced, or
Yes,
you
I did. But I have also like a drum pad.
The drum
so
pads,
it doesn't
right.
sound so
Of
that I
course.
could do that during the day in New York. Yeah.
Yeah. It has been so much fun talking to you, but I know that I'd like to play another of your Grammy, a song from your Grammy
Yes.
record, and this is called Big Band Out of the Bone.
Oh, this is out of the
Out
bone.
of the
This is-
bone.
Out of
yeah.
the bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll play this. Maybe.
We will.
Yes, we will.
The Dafnis Prieto Big Band.
The Dafnis, the
Yeah,
Grammy
Dafnis.
Award-winning Dafnis Prieto Big Band.
So good to hear your music, and
Thank you.
really, what a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. The same here. My
You're
pleasure.
just,
Thank you for the invitation.
Our pleasure, and again, congratulations on, first of all the work you've been doing and will continue to do, and for the show, particularly, congratulations on your Grammys.
I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
and we look forward to seeing what's next for you because
Yeah.
the music is beautiful, and I can't imagine that it's not going to keep growing. So
Yeah, well, thank you guys for doing what you're doing also.
All right, until
we're
the
tr-
next time,
we're trying to. Dafnis Prieto, thank you so much. We will see you soon.
All right.
good night.
Wow.
That was lovely.
I'm impressed. The thing is that we still have two more guests, and they're both fantastic. And I realize that they're all three of them won their Grammys for big bands, and they all the bands sound completely different. It's just amazing the kind of stuff that comes out of. Well, I want to take all the credit being in Miami. I'm saying that it comes out of University of Miami, but I know that they're all from different places. But we're going to talk next to a fantastic trumpet player. That is just a hoot. I love his personality. He's so much fun, and he just won a Grammy, and for this record, the Brian Lynch Big Band, the Omni American Book Club, My Journey Through Literature in Music, and one of the funniest things about this is, they don't announce all of the awards. So we found this, and we thought it. Well, actually, he sent it to us, and we thought it was hysterical.
Oh, yeah.
This
His nomination was announced with the sweet, soothing voice,
dulcet tones,
of
Gilbert Gottfried.
Hi, this is Gilbert Gottfried, and this is for Brian Lynch. Congratulations, jazz trumpet player and composer Brian Lynch, on being nominated for 2 Grammy Awards for his album, The Omni American Book Club. Brian is nominated for Best Large Jazz Ensemble Album and
should put his hands
Best Instrumental Composition. Congratulations, Brian.
dulcet.
Yeah, the very sweet tones. So what I would like to do right away is, here's a picture of Brian winning his Grammy. So he was there to accept it, which is fantastic. He looks about as happy as I can imagine I would feel if I ever were to touch one of those glorious Grammys. Just amazing. What a great thing. And so before we bring Brian on, let's go ahead and listen to one of the songs from the record that won, not just nominated, was won. This is called Tribute to Blue Mitchell. Ladies and gentlemen, may we introduce or bring on the show Brian Lynch. Hey, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
How you doing? What's going on, you guys? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, loud and
goody.
clear.
All right, great.
That's wonderful.
Okay, I have two questions for you right off the top.
Sure.
One is, do you know Gilbert Gottfried? Or is that just...
Not personally. What is
Okay.
that thing? So my friend of mine got me a Christmas. It was his Christmas present. What is that thing called? Cameo. You know that.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was. I heard it was a very good deal.
I love it.
I mean, he's kind of a favorite of mine, and I've gone to see him at Caroline's in New York a couple of times. Just an incredible experience.
Just to hear him keep saying Brian. It's just perfect. Okay, so the other question is, before you do that,
I've actually heard you could get him to do something for like less than half the price of The Situation.
oh my gosh.
That guy from Jersey Shore. Right?
Okay.
What a deal.
Yeah, totally. I wanted to ask you about the name of your album. What exactly does that mean?
I mean, the whole project is oriented around my love of reading, and especially my in the subjects that the books that are paired with the pieces are results of my readings in a number of subjects, but really centering around African American culture and literature and social justice. So the whole idea of the On the American thing comes from the book of the same name, The On the Americans by Albert Murray, which I read very long time ago. Almost half a century ago, actually, when I was very young. And actually, it just came out the same month that I won the Grammy in February. Well, right after I won the Grammy, the people from the New American Library who published Murray sent me a copy of the 50th anniversary edition of the On the Americans.
Wow.
That with a new foreword by Henry Louis Gates Jr. And it was quite good timing, I guess.
I was going to ask you, did you have any idea that we'd be in such a
I did not.
hotbed?
I did not. So all the pieces on the album are paired with a couple of different books, and it runs the gamut, but again, like a lot of them are centered around African American literature and cultural things and so on and so forth. So
Right.
the Blue Mitchell piece, of course, there's a Florida connection there too, since Blue was from Miami, Florida.
There
originally.
you go.
Yep. Used to play a lot at the Sir John Lounge at the Lord Calvert Hotel in Overtown.
Wow.
And so I've paired that tune with dedications to the great author and essayist Ralph Ellison, and then also the historian and writer. I'm having a senior moment here. Isabel Wilkerson, who wrote the book called The Warmth of Other Suns, which is about the great migration of African Americans to the north from the south in the early to mid 20th century.
Wow, that's
So a lot of stories from that book emanate from Florida. So I think there's a connection there as well. So,
but where were you originally from?
I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And I lived there until my early 20s, and then with a short detour to San Diego, where I lived for about a year, moved to New York in my early 20s, and was there for many years. Still am hanging on. I have me and my wife have an apartment there, which we haven't seen for a few months now.
I can imagine.
Yeah, haven't seen much of anything except my yard.
Yep.
So we have a couple of I wanted to show this picture because it's our favorite thing to see the creative
I
germ.
got one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the
No
creative
glasses.
germ is
Yeah.
yeah, the glasses are really special, and you have
It's a
hair.
little Elton John.
Well, see, I thought I was doing Miles Davis there, but of course
Oh, okay, close.
it comes out very Elton John. That's from 1977.
Wow.
And I was I was 20 there, and in my second, third year of college at the place called the Wisconsin Conservatory of Music in my hometown of Milwaukee.
Did you? Is that your first instrument?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah. Yep. It was. Somehow I got stuck with that thing, and I'm still doing it.
I have an affinity for the trumpet. Well, not an affinity, an enthusiasm for the trumpet.
She actually played for a minute.
I do love. I do. Yeah, for a hot
Smart
second.
one, put it down.
Well, the thing is, I'm so lazy. Once I realized singing, came much easier to me than playing the trumpet. That was it. Put it down and never looked back. But I love it. So, and I'm so impressed at just listening to Dafnis's big band, and then to hear your big band. It's just as deep, but it's just so different. I just love it. It's music it's pretty incredible.
Well, thank you. I mean, I think that's actually one of the more like quote unquote conventional pieces on the album.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's very for
Most of
sure.
the stuff there is so darn long. So
Exactly, but man, it's all an adventure.
And Dafnis is a part of my record too.
Right.
He plays on the first cut, "Crucible for Crisis," along with the great Cuban flautist Orlando Maraca Valle. And Dafnis was a part of the record that I did in 2006. I won my first Grammy with the record called Simpatico that I did in my record that I did with the collaboration of the great Eddie Palmieri.
Right, which I think we're going to play a clip in a
little
few
later.
minutes
Yeah.
of that. But I had something really
Deep,
profound, and interesting to ask
life-changing.
you. It left. Talk about a senior moment.
Well, here we are.
Oh, you know what it was? It was reading your bio. How much Latin music you played with Hector Lavoe.
Yep.
And Eddie Palmieri. You made a record with him. So I found that. How did you end up kind of hooking up with the Latin thing?
Well, it's something that I got involved with when I was still in my hometown of Milwaukee, and it was a guitarist named Tony Ramos who put together a band that he had transcribed a lot of the great salsa charts and also wrote his own original Latin jazz music and with a salsa band sort of instrumentation, and playing that music really showed me the ropes, but also just like with anything, it's like when you start hanging out and listening to all the sides and everything, whole world opened up to me. I think growing up in the era where in the 1970s, when a lot of the music that I was listening to had that influence anyhow, because Horace Silver or McCoy Tyner,
Right.
or you name it. There's a lot of that Latin jazz sound in all that music. That Latin, African, Afro-Latin, whatever you want
Right.
to call it. It was, and when you're listening to Coltrane with Elvin Jones, or it's sort of it's a very seamless continuum between African American and Afro Caribbean music.
Right.
So.
What I found amazing, I did a lot of background vocals for the Latin pop industry for many years, and there was a couple of times that I got to sing on a like an actual salsa record, and I had to hang on for dear life because where I'm feeling an upbeat, my syncopation was so completely different than theirs, and I had to because they just lived, eat, and breathe that type of music. When you're born with something that no matter how tight in the pocket I thought I was just, like we're talking 30 seconds of groove that I'm just not doing, and yeah, I had to, not that I walked out with my tail between my legs, but it's a great lesson to learn for anybody, just to think, wow, you think you know something and you don't know it.
Yeah,
It takes a long time.
It's a different sense. It's a different sense of synchronization
Wow.
in some respects. Though there's a certain point where all the music comes together. And I mean that's something that Dafnis is such a genius for example, and I think the way that he puts it all together, and you can have one unitary theory or rhythm that will fit all the music, whether it's swing or Afro, Afro Latin, Afro Cuban, African, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's all about the relationship between the twos and the threes. And
Right.
how they go together.
We can play. Just see a couple more pictures you can kind of talk about your career and people that you played with.
Yeah, there's Horace Silver, 1983 in
Amazing.
Toronto. Yeah.
How long did you play with him?
I played with him for 3 years. Well, 82 through 85. And
Wow.
and there's me and my great friend Ralph Moore. I think this was at Santa Cruz and Cumbwa in 84, a little bit later. Yeah, I mean that was one of my first the quote unquote name gigs after I got to New York. Playing with Horace's band, and then also playing with Toshiko Akiyoshi's big band, and then also playing with Hector Lavoe. So I had a really nice like kind of cross section of the music to deal with. And I think that really this, by the time I got to play with Hector's band, it really became apparent to me that I really that music was going to be a real integral part of my own music. And so I think pretty much I feel all of it. I try not to separate it. I think it's all just it's all just knowing, it's just knowing that there's slightly different parameters to what you do depending on the style of music you're playing.
Well, and the interesting thing is how in every, like I was saying to Dafnis before, in every person, how the influences merge and come out through you. It's all there, but it comes out in a different way that is uniquely you, or uniquely the person.
Thank you.
I love this picture. Blakey.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's at the recording session for the One for All record, the last studio record that Art did in 1990, and we're rehearsing my ballad. I brought in "I'll Wait and Pray," which is the Jerry Valentine tune that Sarah Vaughan sang with the Eckstein Band,
Wow.
which Art was a part of in 1945, and also was recorded later on by Coltrane on the Coltrane Jazz record. And so this, I think, was a great moment. I have a whole series of photographs from that sequence that I really treasure a lot, that Terry Bloom shot at the session. And he was, well, what a living repository of music he was.
Sure.
The chief of chiefs, I would call him.
Definitely.
And a wonderful human being. I mean, I'm so blessed that I had the opportunity to not just play a few bars with him, but to tour the world with him for 2 years and to have him record my music and just be a part of the whole thing. It's the fraternity of those of us that are jazz messengers is it's quite a thing. And it's something that I've been reliving over the last couple of years through the efforts of Ralph Peterson, who really is the real heir to Art's messenger throne in the way that he's brought the generations of Messengers alumni together in his Messengers Legacy book, group, I mean. And we have a new record that's just coming out of all new material. Yeah, that is from the alumni of the Messengers.
Oh,
Awesome.
wow.
Yeah.
When does that kind of come out?
It's coming out pretty soon. I think he may have dropped a single already, which is actually a tune of mine that I
Oh,
wrote.
good.
Called the Scream, El Grito.
Okay.
So sort of like moaning, but faster.
So, Brian, do you speak Spanish now fluently?
I understand a little bit, but I try not to speak it for fear of making a complete
Yeah.
what out of myself. So
I understand a lot, but I always feel like I sound like Tarzan when I speak, because it's, the tenses thing is a thing that I never quite got. So a lot of the time I'm basically, I could sing good last night, or just
Right.
crazy, stuff. But it's nice to be able to speak the language for sure.
yeah.
So
No,
that brings us to this project, which won you another Grammy, right?
That's my first Grammy. So I have had 6 nominations over the years, and
Wow.
This was in 2000. It won the Grammy in 2007 for the best Latin jazz album of 2006. So I've won in 2 categories now, in Latin
That's
jazz
great.
and big band. Yeah.
That's very, very cool.
So you want to play? Can we listen to a little bit of a? Well, it's 9 minutes long, so it's not a little bit of it, but we'll listen to one of the songs from there.
What are you going to play?
The Palmieri Effect.
Are you going to do the video, or are you going
The
to
Video.
Okay.
Is that okay.
And apologies for the quality for it, and also for my hapless cameraman, who's also my good friend Gary Stager, has been pilloried in thousands of YouTube comments about getting it all wrong during Pedrito Martinez's solo and focusing on Dafnis instead.
Right.
But he did the best he could.
There you go.
Okay, nice disclaimer.
We'll try not to judge.
Okay, great.
We're gonna make it big.
Yes.
Okay, good. you have Brian muted.
I do have Brian muted.
See, all these.
Wow, fantastic.
I muted myself.
Yeah, that's
Thank
really
you.
great. Yeah, I see what you mean about the.
The cameraman.
Yeah.
It's like he's
The one
running.
camera
Where is he?
there.
Who's playing the solo? Where?
Right now, that's so funny. The poor guy, like 1,000 bad YouTube comments. Yeah, but that was that was a great performance. Quite a band there, and
Amazing.
and the boss is growling up a storm.
Oh yeah. We were thinking about that as we're listening. It's like, wow, he is. But also the smile on his face just makes you.
Yeah. Let me do something real quick. I'm gonna
Incredible playing.
Brian, I'm gonna take you out for 2 seconds and bring you back in because there's a little delay. Hold on.
Is there?
Yeah. All right. Hopefully we got that.
Hopefully.
Anyway,
All right.
so
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you about. You have I guess one of your latest records is called the Unsung Heroes Project.
Right.
What is that? So that's just about trumpet players that people don't know enough about.
Yeah, I mean the record's actually a few years old now, but my idea there was to pay. I'm kind of this tributing kind of person. I have a lot of records that are tributes to this and that because I'm very very conscious of being and very proud, I think, to have the opportunity to be part of a tradition.
Right.
A part of the tradition of this music that has come to us from the the experience, the African American, the Black experience, and everything, how that experience has shaped this whole country is one of the biggest things is the influence on who we are as a country in terms of just everything, but culture
Right.
and music, and certainly the music that we call jazz. Though
Absolutely.
there's other things that we can we can have a discussion about ways of representing that. That it does come from a very proud and a very hard fought and hard won travail of a people, and I'm very I'm humbled, and I'm also very proud to be a part of that tradition in my own modest way. And so I feel a responsibility to not only play it myself, but to inform people about my influences and the people that have shaped me, whether they're well known or not. So the subjects of Unsung Heroes are both people that influenced me that I've never met, and also mentors of mine, that most of all who have left us now, but musicians like Tommy Turrentine and Claudio Roditi, who just left us earlier this year, is another that were both very, very pronounced mentors of mine when I first came to New York, just as an example. So Unsung Heroes, I did 2 volumes of it that came out in a number of years ago, and I'm very happy with those records, which were the first records that I did on my own record label, which I've done everything since then on.
So we can pull that up just so people know again where to find your music, because you don't have a website, or it's under construction right now. So, but
this is my label website, what's on the
Right.
screen right now. So you can find out everything and including everything. If I was doing any gigs, you'd find them there.
And it is with 2 L's, or is that a typo?
No, that's
2
it.
L's.
Okay.
My middle name is Hollister. So that's where that
Oh,
okay.
look at that.
Holistic
comes. Yeah.
music. Okay, good. And that we the MJC does a Thursday night listening hour, and it would be kind of interesting if, I don't know if you don't need to commit to it, but if you would think about maybe coming on and playing some of your unsung heroes.
I would love to do that. And I think you were wondering if I could play something, right?
I would
Yes.
love for you to play something.
So what I've done is I've made, and hopefully this works. I know we tested this out the other day.
Yeah.
But I made a little I made a little quarantine mix of one of the songs
Okay.
from my Unsung Heroes. Right?
Oh, great. Perfect.
And so what this is actually it's an original composition called The Unsung Blues. So what I'm going to do here is it time to do this? I think.
Yeah, let's do
It
it.
is time.
Okay, so let's see if this works. If it's coming up, if it's going to come out really messed up, just let me know, and
Okay.
we'll
Okay.
deal with
If we come back, then you know something's wrong. If you don't see us,
Okay.
you're good.
Okay, so let's see one thing here. Is I'm going to do that. Okay. So here we go. One, two, 1, 2, 3. Hey, Nikki,
Yeah,
You're
we're
good?
here.
could you hear it?
Yeah, we heard everything.
Okay, I had a little technical problem.
Okay.
With hearing. I don't have my volume up along.
Okay.
So one take.
Yeah, you could turn up.
I was so excited that it worked.
Oh, good, it works. Okay, but I
Yeah.
need to hear it. But I need to hear it.
Yeah.
Whatever sounds right to you.
Here's take 2. One, two, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
That sounded really good.
Yeah, the sound was really good. It worked out perfectly. It's been a journey trying to get live music on here and having it sound good. And okay, so now you got to put your mic back on, your talking mic.
Yeah, it's just low.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Is it on now?
It's really low.
I wonder what happened here.
I don't know.
Something happened. Unless you want to get. There we
How's
go.
that? How's that
Yes.
now?
That's
There we go.
back.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I have to switch on these preamps and everything.
Technology.
Yeah. So what was I gonna say? That's the first time I've played for anybody in about three months.
Oh, thank you so much.
Does it feel good?
It feels rusty, but now I know what I have to do. You know, we sit around and we play a lot and we practice a lot while I'm taking advantage of this forced hiatus to work on a few things and
Yeah.
and get some stuff together when I can. I mean, it's quite a time, and there's just a lot of uncertainty, and there's a lot of and a lot of tumult, and I think good tumult. That
I think you're right.
I'm very hopeful is going to go somewhere
It-
that's in a better direction than what we've been in.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes we just need to pick up the rug and see the gross stuff that's underneath there and clean it all out. I mean, it's spring cleaning, I guess, or growing pains, or I don't know what to say, but
Yeah.
music at least is a healing force.
Centuries of growing pains.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun to play. I mean, I've seen a lot of people do things like this, but this is the first time I've attempted it myself. So thanks for the trial run there.
Yeah.
Pleasure was
Well,
ours.
your system works great, so
Yeah.
you
You're
feel
good to
free.
go.
You are good to go. And the other thing is, there's a little bit of a stigma playing with tracks, or but
Sounded great to me.
you're forced to do it, and I always think it's the Indian, it's not the arrow. It's the person. You can make the worst track sound bad. You sound great or sound bad. You can make the best track sound terrible. No.
Thank you.
Hey, Brian, thank you so
saying.
much for coming on. Congratulations on your Grammys and all the work you've done. And, we always say it after all these shows, we're just waiting for everything to open up a little bit so we can hear people like you and Dafnis and John perform and do your thing,
Yeah, we're waiting for it, but we want to be safe, and
Yeah.
we want to make sure that we want to maintain a good example.
Yeah.
That's right.
So in the meantime, we're going to keep an eye out for the new Jazz Messengers record, right? And
Right.
and you're working on some stuff too. Yeah.
I am. I'm going to have a record dropping in in a few weeks actually.
Oh, really?
And yeah, it's gonna be volume 1 of what I call my songbook series. I've started a project where I'm re-recording all the original music of mine that I recorded for other labels between 1986 and about 2010.
And so this is where to find it: holistic with 2 L's, musicworks.com.
musicworks.com. Yep, and I invite you to all the releases are available, and even via regular CDs, which I'll mail out to you, and you can and also some of my sheet music is available.
Okay,
excellent
for my charts. Yeah.
And I feel like we were just scratching the surface with you, because we actually had like 3 other clips to play, and
next time.
That's the way it goes. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me.
Thank you, Brian. I know you may or may not be here later on, but
fantastic big band, runs the CJB over at the University of Miami, and he's just an amazing talent. He's here because we are talking about our Grammy winners.
Yes, we'll claim them as ours.
And he just won a Grammy for his American Dreamers, Voices of Hope, Music of Freedom. It's another perfectly timely. This is featuring DACA artists and the John Daversa Big Band. And before we bring him on, we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to actually see him be awarded the Grammys. This is always fun.
For Best Arrangement, Instrumental, or A Cappella, the nominated arrangers are Randy Waldman and Justin Wilson, Mark Kibble, John Powell, Alexandre Desplat, John Daversa.
And the Grammy goes to John Daversa.
Thank you to the Recording Academy for recognizing our work together that features 53 dreamers that came to this country as children. I'm a great-grandson of Italian immigrants, and so this is a very personal project for me. There's so many people that contributed to this record, so bear with me. I want to thank my producers, Kabir Siegel, Doug Davis, for their extraordinary vision and dedication and follow-through. Thank you to my stellar big band, I love you. Oscar Ati, Kenya Ati, Chris Palowich, Gavin Lurson, Shane Abudu, Ozzy Hussein, Ali Nahrani. Thanks to Spotify and Troy Carter for believing in us, the Frost School of Music, Warm Audio, Shilkey. Most gratefully, Stephen Weber for bringing us all together. BFM Jazz, Michelle Ito, Stephen Korn. My wife, Tatiana, I love you so much. My daughter, Hada. My parents, Jay and Marianne. I also want to recognize that one of the dreamers that participated in this record is here tonight, Denzel. Denzel, are you here anywhere? Right here. Denzel is here. His birth country is Singapore. He came to this country as a child, plays trombone, he plays mean trombone. He wanted to join the military, but was denied because of his immigration status. He is now a professional jazz trombonist. Our project is all about sharing stories like these and coming together as Americans through music. Thank you all.
Look at him there with an armful of Grammys. That's so exciting. Before we bring him on, we are going to listen to one of the songs that won the award, and this is called. I love the Cole concept of this record, but especially this Cole Porter tune is the most amazing idea for this, which is called "Don't Fence Me In." Woo! So good.
That's deep.
All right, here he is, John Daversa. Hello.
John! I think you're muted. There
Let's
you
try
go.
that again.
Woo! John Daversa.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks for being with us.
You know what the funny thing is we talked to Dafnis and I was so impressed by, his music and everything. And then we talked to Brian and I was like, oh, this was so good. And then we just listened to that and I'm just like, damn, it's so good.
Music is amazing, right? There's no end to it.
Yeah.
The creativity, that was an amazing arrangement.
Yeah, and not just that, but just this idea of this Don't Fence
It's
Man
great.
that you used that for the DACA was brilliant, I must say.
Yeah, it certainly. I thought about the song first,
Yeah.
of course, and of course I knew it from Roy Rogers, and
Yeah.
but I found out later that, after Pearl Harbor, they had these Japanese internment camps, right, where they sequestered Japanese Americans, and they would play this song on the speakers outside of the camps.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, and that's why in the track you hear in Spanish, "Don't take away my dreams," but also
Yeah.
in Japanese we say that too, or we tried to say it, and try to say it in those different languages,
Yeah.
and then the whole idea of having free jazz in the inside, where it's
Yeah.
making that comment that music and all of us should be free, and then we all come together, right? It's
Yeah.
to have the call and response. And I don't know if you all know what cymatics is.
I do not know what
It's,
cymatics is.
If you put like a metal plate and you put a vibration underneath it and put some rice on top of the
Oh, yeah,
metal
okay.
plate or water or whatever it might be. You can hear me okay? It's the level?
Yes,
okay?
perfect.
It's great.
I know my voice is soft.
No,
It's very
But
soothing though.
At certain frequencies, just natural in nature, the rice will form a beautiful symmetrical mandala just by the
Really?
and you could look it up on YouTube or whatever. You can see examples of this, and it'll form this beautiful mandala just by the frequency, and you change the frequency just by one or two hertz, and it will go into disorder, right?
Wow.
So, but then you raise it a little bit more to the next frequency, and it'll create the next mandala. So
Right.
there's something in that creating the, being able to go through the chaos and the disorder to recalibrate and become something new. And I feel like that's a moment that we're in our country right now too.
Yes.
Yeah. Chaos. Hopefully that will go to order. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you had the idea for this album, was it based on just world events, or were you in a place in your head that just called for that? What happened?
Well, a combination of things. I think as I've gotten older, first, I just loved music as a 3-year-old. I was beating my pillows to Earth, Wind and Fire, and it's that's the mojo that gets me up in the morning and carries me through my day is music, just that
Right.
feeling of it. But as I've gotten older, then you start to think about, well, what's the intention that I'm putting into these little sound bubbles that go out into the world? And I just want to be able to affect in a positive way. And it may be something very intentional, like telling the story of these DACA recipients, or it might be just the idea of sending out joy and love, and just
Right.
knowing that that's going out in the world to affect, hopefully in a positive way for people. So that was already going on with me, and then the story of the DACA Act, had been going on for many years, and you
Right.
read about it in the paper, and you kind of see the news stories, and you just, you wish. I just look at the human stories, and you wish you can do something for people. You know, these were for people that may not know. These are children that were brought to this country undocumented. And, you know, when they were a year old, maybe they were 3 years old, maybe they were 7. And for all kinds of different reasons, may it be for medical treatment or their parents died or, you know.
Or just their parents trying to have a better life.
Also,
you know,
they've ended up going to school here. They work here, and they have no pathway to citizenship.
Right.
So I was, you know, all I know how to do is make music. I'm a musician, so you know, I got together with a few folks and said, you know, maybe we can tell a story here where we can really highlight the human story behind this.
Right.
You know, the real part where it's human lives that we would like to put the spotlight on so everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
just to raise awareness.
It's great. It's so good.
And now, you know, and still there's no resolution
Right.
with DACA. It's still just sitting there. I wish that were the happy ending to all of this.
Course.
And, you know, that's kind of, you know, part of the sadness of all of these kind of things that we go through, like as a country, with like that was like a huge focus for you know, like a period, and then we turn our attention to the next big thing, and then that just kind of, it's almost like it's gone, even though it's not gone. You know, nothing really gets resolved, and so, you know, hopefully we'll be able to resolve a whole bunch of issues. You know.
Well, it's sustained effort. You know,
Yeah.
we can't succumb to fatigue.
Right.
And be distracted by the next news cycle.
Right.
You know, and you know, I'm gonna do my part.
Well, you're doing it,
You're
and
doing
we
it.
thank you for it.
Wow.
I would love to. I know, you know, I really loved your Kaleidoscope Eyes record, and you know, I went to go see the big band play at Gusman, and I just thought it was such an interesting take on the Beatles songs, and plus everybody loves the Beatles, which is it's another thing. And I know that you were nominated for this also.
Yeah, that was quite an honor. This was definitely a project where so many people came together to make this happen. You know, I gave myself the license to write anything that I wanted to, and just the belief that there was going to be some way that it would be realized. And, you know, because I wrote for a huge ensemble. You know, there's a string section and a choir and
Wow.
and percussion, and there are 7 pieces to the saxophone section and 5 trumpets, you know, 4 trombones and tuba.
So this
vocalists.
is more like a great big band.
It is a
Extra
really
large.
big band. And you know, the thing with Beatles, it's the melodies. They're so timeless, and every song they wrote was about love, peace, and joy. And what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
So I really wanted to, and I also saw the challenge in, you know, the idea of doing an album of Beatles covers is not a new idea.
Right.
And they've been covered so many times, but I just saw that as a challenge. I knew there was a way to find a freshness to this if I would allow it to come through, and so I'm really happy we got to do this all together.
I was going through the many videos of that you had made with these songs, and they're all amazing. But you know, when I heard "And I Love Her," I just thought, man, this is so haunting and so subtle and beautiful. I thought we could maybe play that one for anyone who hasn't had the pleasure of hearing.
Oh, thank you, Nicky. I
This
appreciate
is John
that.
Daversa's arrangement of "And I Love Her." Enjoy.
Thank
spectacular.
Woo!
That is so elegant, my God.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah, just so beautiful.
That was, I just want to shout out on trombone, that's a gentleman named Paul Young. This was recorded in Los Angeles.
Beautiful playing.
And clarinet player is Phil O'Connor. And who am I leaving off? I guess those were the soloists.
Yeah, it was just beautiful.
How much time did you have to rehearse that group?
Well, you know what I did is I did do a few gigs as I was writing the music. I would fly out to LA and play at there's a club in Los Angeles called the Baked Potato.
Sure.
And we used to play there when I lived in LA the last Sunday of every month for many years, and that's really where the band got its character. And so I would go out there about once a month and play and introduce the new material, so we could really learn it in an organic way,
Right.
and live with it before we recorded it. So, and then once we actually rehearsed, it wasn't a whole lot of time.
Yeah.
But we actually recorded, let's see, 3 nights in a row.
Right.
And we had I don't know if you saw the microphones, that's another thing. I mean, so many people came together to make that project happen. AEA Microphones donated all of their
Oh, wow.
microphones for that performance.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, $100,000 worth of mics that
Yeah.
they just said, here, do your thing, and made it possible. But we did 3 nights, and the first night, this has nothing to do with the fault of the microphones, but the recording equipment didn't work, so the
Oh my
first night was a
gosh.
scratch.
Oh boy.
And then we had the next 2 nights, but it actually acted as a terrific dress rehearsal
Right.
It's the
for us to
spirit
really.
when life gives you lemons.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the only way. That's the only way.
Yeah.
Well, it was
What do
worth
you,
it. Sounded
it's like,
great.
that's what jazz is. What are you gonna? How do you make your mistakes beautiful? Like, what are you gonna do with it?
That's
Yeah.
right.
But are you born and bred in LA or in California?
Yeah. I was, my dad is and was a studio jazz trumpet player, or
Oh, wow.
a studio trumpet player in Los Angeles for many years. And he's also a great jazz player too. Played with Stan Kenton and many people. And so I grew up in that environment. And when I was about 7 years old, we moved to where my mom's family is from in Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like I grew up there too. I lived there from when I was 7 till about 14.
Oh, that's a
and actually in between there, I lived in Las Vegas for a little bit, and then we moved to Sacramento for my first couple of years of high school, and then I moved back to LA for my last couple of years of high school, and then I stayed there for a bit.
Wow.
I did all my college studies at Los Angeles schools.
That's amazing. And you always played the trumpet. Like that was you didn't start somewhere else or?
I did start, I started with voice, really. My mom is a wonderful singer, along with many other talents, but she got me singing, and I sang in church and in the choir.
Wow.
And I really learned to read music singing first, and I'm so appreciative of that,
Yeah.
because when you're singing, to state the obvious, you can't press down the button.
Yeah. Right.
And, you have to really learn what you're doing and how to blend and all of these things that are just, you can't cheat.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm so thankful for that. And then I played piano a little bit. I started on piano. And then when I was in Oklahoma, I started my grandfather was a really fantastic educator in the area that we were at. And he taught me some clarinet lessons
Okay.
until it just didn't seem like the right fit. I don't think the clarinet was loud enough for me at that age. And then I said, well, maybe the trombone. And so I spent a little bit of time with the trombone, and then that didn't seem to be right. All basically avoiding playing the same instrument that
As
my
your
dad
dad,
did.
yeah.
Right.
And it was inevitable.
That's
I just love
interesting.
this. I love the sound. I have to follow the sound.
And you knew it once you tried it, pretty much?
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
like true love to me.
Yes.
Well, there have been many years that it's been kind of a love-hate
Hey,
thing
yeah.
as I try and figure out how to actually get that sound. But I've come to more and more peace as I get older.
That's the good thing. When you get older, it seems like you just don't have the time to worry about that, you know? It's like, you know, I'm at the point now, if it feels good, it's got to be right, you know? You can't tell me it's not right.
Wow.
But do you think you could play something, speaking of your sound, could you play a little something for us?
I'd be happy to. Yeah, I was thinking about that. You know, one of the songs from the Dreamers project that talk about an iconic song to try and express again. But we did America the Beautiful, and you know that's a song that really has such a deep feeling and meaning to many people, and it means different things to different people. So to try and find the reverence and still have a fresh way to say it.
And like in all tunes, like what we just said, we talked about this with Brian, like every day the song has a different meaning. Like today certainly is going to feel a lot different than it would have 2 months ago, you know, with what's going on and everything. So it's kind of an interesting thing.
Oh, I hear you. So I'll play a melody for you. I'm going to play with a harmon mute here because my daughter's going to sleep. So
Okay.
I know it's getting late.
Thank you, John.
oh, she's not going to sleep. She just showed her face. That level feels okay?
Sound? Let me hear.
Do it again.
Very good. Yep.
Sounds great.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So nice. So good to hear. Have you been able to play a lot at all during this time, or?
Well, I was for a little bit, and I was really enjoying, for the first time, and probably since I was 11 years old, getting to have some consistent practice time and getting in shape. And Oh, that felt so good. And although the last 2 weeks, I just have not been able to focus on this. We need to focus on other things.
Yeah.
But the music is always there. The music will be the vehicle for me anyway.
Yeah.
I think it is for a lot of people, musicians and non-musicians alike.
And I appreciate what you're doing here, uniting musicians and your audience and connecting us all, especially at this time. That's critical.
Well, the MJC had our Monday night, jazz night every Monday where people would come out and sing, come out and play and watch the music. And it just felt like when we went into quarantine, it just felt like we wanted to have music on, a consistent night of music. I didn't want it to fall away, like this habit of music on Mondays. And as kind of silly as that sounds, but I just didn't want it to stop. So this is how our way of just trying to keep the music going and having a home on Monday nights to meet and connect.
Well, I'm sure I can speak for many people in your audience when I say thank you for that.
Well, we are so grateful for you guys and the music that you're bringing in, the thoughtfulness, I guess, that's in the music. Somebody who listens to it doesn't have to know a thing about what's behind it, but they're going to feel it. It is that positive thing that you were talking about will reach a person to their core, whether they know it or not. It's very sneaky.
They have no choice.
It's very
Resistance is futile.
very, very sneaky, which is a good thing. But we're going to go out and listen to one more of your Grammy-winning songs. We're going to play the Stars and Stripes.
May I tell you before you play
yes,
this?
Please do.
So this is stupid fast.
Yeah.
This arrangement. But it was, I did it at quarter note equals 305 beats per minute because that's where we recorded it in Miami.
Wow. The 305, huh? Okay.
305, that makes sense. I like it.
Glad we're not in Orlando. Okay.
That's 407.
Stars and Stripes forever.
Yeah. Here we go. Oh, that's so fun. That is so fun.
That's an easy read. Wow.
Yeah, it's scary to look at. That's for sure.
Fantastic work, John.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What is next for you? Do you have another project coming out? Are you working on something?
Yeah, there's a record we're working on coming up pretty soon, actually, that we're gonna try and do. It's a record of really simple melodies, almost the antithesis of what the big band would be. I want to go in and play soft and just make you go like this and hopefully gain your trust.
Your come hither.
Yeah.
So this is not going to be with a big band.
No, it's going to be with a small group with a number of amazing musicians. I can't wait to play with. And the last couple records that I did, I was playing more of a producer role. There's a record I co-produced for another Genius Grant winner, Regina Carter.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Violinist, jazz violinist. She's so wonderful and so amazing, and it's called Swing States, Harmony in the Battleground. And so there's a emphasis to try and get everybody to go out and vote this year.
Oh, great.
And the previous record that I co-produced and wrote all the music for was a record for Karen Allison.
Okay, nice. I love her.
I do too, and it was celebrating the 19th Amendment, granting some women the right to vote, and just trying to showcase that small victory and where we are now and how much further we need to go in gender equity in our country as well. So I just hope to continue. I mean, there are a lot of different things that I'm working on right now that I can't talk specifically about.
That's okay.
But I'm so excited about those things and so excited about people that are listening.
Well, we urge everybody who's watching and who will watch after this to go to your website, johndaversa.com. They can find about all the music and everything that's going on there, correct?
Yes, I've got some updating to do there, but
don't we all?
Yeah, but that is a good place. And if anybody wants to send me a note, you certainly can write to me through the email there or through social media.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to say hello, and I'd love to say hello back.
Great. So we're going to bring Dafnis back up. Because Brian had to leave, but we'll bring Dafnis so you guys can say hi. Hey, Dafnis.
Hey, Dafnis. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
You too. It's really good to hear your music and get to hear you talk about everything.
Thank you. The same here.
That's the thing that is so interesting about doing the show is we all get to hear your music, but when we actually get to learn a little bit about you, it just is so much fun, to learn the stories behind how you got here,
Sure. Yeah.
It's nice. And so you guys will start back at U of M in the fall, correct?
Yes,
that's what we hear.
And it will be in person.
Is that's
the
actual
plan too.
Full classes is what they're trying?
That is the plan, so we're that's why I haven't been practicing, because we're putting into place exactly how that will and how it can happen. But we've got some amazing people that are putting together ingenious ways to make this work for everyone.
We got little partitions of plexiglass partitions in between everybody in the big band. I mean, I guess there's ways to do it, but it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it will be crazy for sure.
I keep thinking about going back to teaching voice because we're in like a 6x6 room, with and singing is one of the worst things to expelling air into the thing. But we'll see what happens.
So you both obviously did. I guess the whole last semester online.
Most of it, half of it.
Well, we when the lockdown went into place, so in March, and so we start pretty early at University of Miami the semester, so we basically had another month and a half to go.
Oh, okay.
So we certainly did our best to try and pull everything together and create an educational experience that was still world class.
Right.
I think we learned a lot from that experience, and we're going to take that into the fall, and and take some of the things that really worked well, that were actually benefits,
Right.
to some of the technology that we can use, and then try and put them together and make them work. I don't know if Dafnis, if you had any takeaways. Like, I know we've talked on the phone about it.
Yeah. I mean, both things. I think we miss, finishing in a normal situation, in a normal circumstances. But at the same time, we engage into this new adventure, and I think we all had a great commitment. The students and all the teachers, the faculty had a great commitment to really make it happen and to really make it the best quality possible. And I think we did. I think everybody, ended up the semester in pretty good shape, meaning, everything was done as it was supposed to do. But,
Right.
we did it online. And the good thing, as John was mentioned before, I think we can take the good side of this part and maybe do some activities that we can actually still do online. and then use, the physical facilities and etc. and have the
Yeah.
real contact also. I mean,
Right.
Music is such a physical,
Yes.
and it's just experiential as a first listener right there, and we should not miss that. So anyways, I think we're working in towards a good direction to start
Yeah.
this next semester.
Great.
There are, I have to just say this out loud. I mean, the faculty, at Frost, and I'll just speak, to our department and the jazz department. They're such amazing people, and in that they're so highly skilled and experts in their field. That part's a given, but everyone really cares to deliver to this next generation. They're so nurturing and so caring to our students, and they go above and beyond to try and figure out what's going to be best for the students. So I'm so proud to be associated with them.
Well,
They're in good hands.
Yeah, we're proud to have them in the community. It's always so exciting when we present, students and the high level and, the depth that's going on, with the future. The future of this music is really exciting. It's great. So thanks, you guys, for making it happen.
Yeah, it was such a joy listening and hearing you all
And getting
three of
to know
speak.
you.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a revelation, and it was really enjoyable. So thank you again, and we look forward to just years. We know there's going to be years and years more of this coming from all three of you.
I appreciate that. Next time we got to make sure Brian stays so we can sing a trio together, though.
Oh, that would be
that'll
good.
be a highlight.
We make at least a perfect triad.
I'll believe it when I see it. We know John can because he started out singing. I don't know about the other two. Anyway,
Anyways, thank
great.
you for having us and for this, for this show, and we really appreciate it. And it was great to meet you, both of you. And
thank you.
I obviously, John and I are actually doing very interesting stuff, and I'm going to be part of this next recording that he's doing. He did a
Great.
song.
Woo! Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm gonna be we're recording this in a couple of weeks, and I'm really excited and looking forward to do this recording. This is the first time we're going to actually record together.
Oh, that's
so
wonderful.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you, John, for the invitation.
Thank you for accepting.
Yeah.
And we'll all look forward to hearing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'll
Well,
be a beautiful
you
project.
guys stay safe, and thank you so much for giving us your time and your talents. And we will see you hopefully in person next time.
Beautiful.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Wow. Another one that went way too long, but
And yet it doesn't
yet
seem like it was long enough.
so good. Well, that's the thing. They should have each had their own show.
I know.
That's what it should have
That's
been.
what it should have been.
It should have been the Grammy month.
Oh.
That's what it should have been,
There
yeah.
it is.
And each Monday would have been a different Grammy winner. But anyway, we have lots to report because we are trying to keep, like I said, music happening and keep your ear holes happy.
That just sounds so awful.
I know, I'm sorry. But so this Thursday night, June 18th at 8 p.m., there's another listening party, and John Fedchock is going to be the curator. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what he's going to play. It's been really fun listening to these shows, I have to say. I kind of thought I wouldn't, like, we do this and we prepare a lot for this show. And so I kind of thought, maybe I'll tune, I won't tune in. And I find myself going, and then I'll listen for 5 minutes and see what's going on, and then I watch the whole show.
Right.
And it's always so good. So that's happening. And then listen, this Friday we have one of our specials, and this is the brainchild of Nicky Orta, and he is very good friends with this really world-class, incredibly amazing guitar player from Norway named Staffan William Olsen. And so we're going to be featuring two guitar players. We're going to feature our very own fantastic, amazing guitar player, Jonathan Kreisberg. And so...
and I believe the two of them have met in Norway. I know Jonathan has played there, I believe, several times, and not too long ago. So they know of each other. I think they know each other, and it's... we're going to have a nice...
We're going to have a mutual admiration society.
Pretty much. It's going to be a bit of fawning and just nice, fun conversation.
And we're going to do that at 2 p.m. so that the people in Norway can watch, or people in Europe or whatever can actually tune in. And so we hope that you will join with us, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And then on next Monday, our show is going to feature the music of the legendary jazz composer Ron Miller. And we're going to talk to Ron. We're going to have people on. We're going to have some people playing his music. We're going to have recordings. And I'm really looking forward to it, because I know that he's kind of one of those unsung heroes, just like what Brian was saying. He has influenced so many people's writing that have come through University of Miami, and probably, in a really surprising way. So he's fantastic, and I think it's going to be a really exciting show. So we hope you're, tuning in. I know it gets late. We never expected to go this long, and yet here we are. So thank you once again for tuning in. Please support our musicians. I completely forgot to talk about this, but if you text tip jar, the word tip jar, to the number 44321, you can send a little bit of money to our musicians who have not played in about 3 months
now.
At least. So that would be greatly appreciated if you would like and follow and share when we're on. If you could share it to your page so your friends can see it, like our page, follow our page, the Miami Jazz Cooperative on Facebook. And if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, that would be very helpful to us. And other than that, stay safe and have a fantastic night.
Good night.